Hi everybody. Well, my reflection today is about a journey, and it's based upon the reading of Matthew 2, 1 to 12. And I'm going to go through the reading as I take you on a journey. When Jesus was born in the village of Bethlehem in Judea, Herod was king. During this time, some wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and said, "Where is the child born to be king of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." So I wonder if any of you saw the Star of Bethlehem on the 20th and the 21st of December, the perfect alignment of Jupiter and Saturn. We were lucky enough to see the star in the southwest on the 20th, a bright star that outshone the rest of all the stars in the sky. And it got us thinking, what an amazing thing we've just seen. This is much discussed as the very star the wise men saw. Just imagine, we've seen the star. How incredible is that? The star then is God's intervention into the lives of the wise men. His hand is guiding them. It makes seeing the star last week even more enlightening. So the reading continues. When King Herod heard about this, he was worried. And so was everyone else in Jerusalem. Herod brought together the chief priests and the teachers of the laws of Moses and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" Can you imagine what Herod would have thought when he heard that these wise men, magi, astrologers, had arrived and were searching for another king? It must have thrown the palace into turmoil. These learned men were acknowledging the newborn king as king, not Herod. The reading continues. They told him, "He will be born in Bethlehem, just as the prophet wrote. Bethlehem in the land of Judea. You are very important among the towns of Judea. From your town will come a leader who will be like a shepherd for all my people Israel." So, not good news if you're king. 3 wise men of wisdom turning up on your patch. You counsel them saying, yep, it says it here too in the scriptures. So Herod hatches a plot. He must stop this at all costs. His rule was in doubt. Learned men believe this to be so and have moved to travel to worship this new king. So the reading continues. Herod secretly called on the wise men and asked them where they had first seen the star. He told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, let me know. I want to go and worship him too." The 3 wise men listened to what the king had said and then left. And the star they had seen in the east went on ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. So God's hand is at work here, moving the star through the heavens to the place where Jesus was born. And the wise men faithfully followed the star. They didn't ask directions. Anyone they asked would have probably directed them to a palace, not a stable. You would normally find a king in a palace. And the reading goes on. They were thrilled and excited to see the star. When the wise men went into the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother, they knelt down and worshipped him. They took out their gift of gold, frankincense and myrrh and gave them to him. Well, the gifts they brought were definitely gifts fit for a king. They give example of the homage of the Magi. And they would have been welcomed by Joseph and Mary, who were very poor. Now remember, Herod is expecting a report back. This is not to happen. God was aware of this plot. And again, God intervenes in the life of the wise men by way of a dream. The reading goes on. Later, they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, and they went back home by another road. So I wonder what the wise men thought. Such compulsion to leave their home and travel to follow a star. There is such belief in what they must do. Truly believing that this is the child born to be King of the Jews. They must see him. Not just see him or pay homage, but to worship him, worship the divine. So we've all been on journeys in this year, in this unknown past that we've had. Finding things out about ourselves that perhaps we never knew. Finding new ways to get things done. As simple as new ways to shop or new ways to learn to work in the confines that we've been given. Walking and cycling instead of jumping in the car. Starting new hobbies. With more time on our hands, it's made it possible. Making friends with neighbours we might have just nodded an acknowledgement to in the past. Understanding the importance of binding together, watching out for each other, a new kindness, perhaps. We now have a bright light at the end of the tunnel. Through the brilliance of our own wise men scientists, a number of effective vaccines that will help return us to a new normal during this year. Many of us reflect on the journey we have had in the previous year, subconsciously by setting New Year's resolutions. Something that we've decided we no longer want to do and will stop. Something we've decided to do and so make a special commitment to continue it in the new year. Something that we have not yet done but want to achieve. So what will you take on your New Year's resolution journey? The new you? Keep supporting the local retailers? Keep gardening? Leave the car in the drive? Knock on my neighbour's door? Just like the three wise men. Something to stop? Ignore the threat of Herod. Something to continue? Their faith in God. Something to start? The worship of a new king. Thank you for listening.